Every living being is an Earth inhabitant. By Gurubsar Lankar Idabagus. We live in an era in which people describe themselves as Dutch, Surinamese, Turkish, American, Chinese, Russian, French, or members of countless other nations. Many carry these identities with pride. They see them as a source of connection, meaning, and history. Yet there is a deeper truth that is often forgotten. Before we were Dutch, before we were Surinamese, before we were European, Asian, African, or American, we were something else. We were human, Earth inhabitants. This is the only identity that nature has truly given us. The Earth did not create countries. It did not create religions. It did not draw borders. It did not plant flags or compose national anthems. Nature knows no passports, no nationalities, and no citizenship. When astronauts look at our planet from space, they do not see the Netherlands, Suriname, or Turkey. They see a single living world drifting through infinite space. All borders we know are human constructs. They do not exist in nature. They exist in our minds. This does not mean they have no consequences. On the contrary, human beings have fought, suffered, and died for borders the Earth itself has never recognized. The history of humanity shows how powerful groups repeatedly claimed territories, subjugated peoples, and expanded their influence. From ancient empires to modern states, we see the same patterns repeating: conquest, domination, possession, and control. Almost every people has experienced periods in which it was subjected to power and periods in which it exercised power over others. Therefore, we must be cautious with national pride. What exactly are we proud of? Wars we did not fight ourselves? Conquests we did not carry out? Acts that took place before we were born? True pride should arise from our own actions, our own contribution to the world, and our own choices, not from the accident of birth. No one chooses where they are born. No one chooses their first language. No one chooses the flag under which they come into the world. These are not achievements. These are circumstances. Through the centuries, those in power have learned that people are easier to govern when they see themselves as separate groups. Divide humanity into nations, peoples, races, classes, and religions, and people will focus more on their differences than on their shared humanity. Thus arose the idea of us and them. And that idea has produced countless conflicts. When a person believes their group is superior to another, the seed of oppression is planted. When a nation considers itself superior, domination becomes possible. When borders matter more than human lives, humanity loses its moral compass. The history of wars, colonialism, slavery, persecution, and exploitation repeatedly demonstrates this. No people emerges entirely innocent from history. No nation possesses a flawless past. Anyone who studies history honestly discovers that humanity is far more united in its mistakes than in its national achievements. More than 2,000 years ago, within human thought, there already emerged the understanding that human beings do not belong exclusively to a nation or land, but are in essence world inhabitants. This idea was revolutionary because it contains a truth that remains relevant today. Human beings do not belong to a country. Human beings belong to the Earth. The Earth existed for billions of years before the first human appeared. It will likely continue to exist for billions of years after the last human has gone. Yet we behave as though we own parts of this planet. We buy land. We sell land. We inherit land. We defend land. But can a being who lives only a few decades truly own something that is billions of years old? We do not own the Earth. The Earth temporarily carries us. We are not owners, but guests. We are not rulers, but stewards. When we truly see ourselves as Earth inhabitants, our way of thinking changes. Wars are no longer seen as distant problems. Poverty, ecological destruction, and injustice are no longer seen as the problems of others. We begin to understand that we share a common fate. We breathe the same air. We drink the same water. We live under the same sun. We travel together through the universe on the same fragile planet. The greatest challenge of our time is therefore not technological. It is moral. We must learn to think at the level of humanity as a whole. We must move from tribe to global community, from division to unity, from domination to cooperation. This does not mean that cultures must disappear. This does not mean that languages must disappear. This does not mean that traditions must disappear. Diversity enriches humanity. But no culture should be more important than human life. No flag should be more important than a human being. No border should be more important than justice. And no identity should be more important than our shared humanity. In the end, we all return to the same earth. The earth that was not made by anyone. The earth that no one truly owns. The earth that carries us all. That is the deepest truth a human being can understand. Not that one is Dutch. Not that one is Surinamese. Not that one is European, Asian, African, or American. But that one is human. An earth inhabitant. An earth inhabitant is a temporary traveler on a planet that belongs to no one and therefore belongs to us all. If one believes they are Dutch, I emphasize the following. To be a proud Dutchman, one must be uneducated. For an educated Dutchman would know that there is nothing in Dutch history to be unconditionally proud of. And what applies to the Netherlands also applies to the American, the German, the Russian, the Korean, the British, the French, the Chinese, and every other people. Those who truly study history discover not a sequence of heroic deeds, but a history of wars, conquests, colonialism, slavery, oppression, exploitation, and human suffering. The more knowledge one gains about the history of nations, the more difficult it becomes to justify national pride. Knowledge leads not to pride, but to humility, not to superiority, but to self-reflection, not to glorification of the past, but to responsibility for the future. Therefore, I do not call myself Dutch, European, or a member of any nation. I call myself an earth inhabitant. Thank you.